It's wonderful to be here. Thank you. So I have this inner turmoil feeling on how I can overlay my question on the information that you've given us with all the tools. And obviously I'm here because I don't get it. It has to do with understanding my relationship with food.
Mostly what happens with most people on this subject is that you want to deal with the manifestation. Before we start this conversation, and we'll help you come to full clarification on this, but before we start with the specifics of this conversation, we want to demonstrate again that here is your vibrational reality that we've been calling your vortex, and that it is ready for you to be ready for it. When you get off any subject that is conducive to resistance, like money and usually food, often relationships, religion, politics, is there anything left? Children. When you get off whatever subject is your hot button issue, you allow your vibration to rise often enough that you are in often sync with that, with who you really are and what you really want. Then what begins to happen is you begin to receive impulses that as you follow them feel good, impulses that as you follow them you can just feel the rightness for you in this moment about them. Not the rightness forevermore perhaps, but the right path, the path of least resistingness of it. So we want to say bluntly, when you do the vibrational work first, then the inspired action comes. But most people, the last thing that they regard on this topic is vibration. They want to jump right to behavior and action and results. So they're looking for results before they've accomplished the vibration that can produce the results. That's why so many different people are doing so many different things and getting so many different results, or so many people are doing very similar things and getting different results. Is because it's not about the behavior. You want your behavior to be inspired, not dictated by a process or a book that somebody else has offered. You want it to be inspired. And so what that usually means is you've got to get off that subject for quite a while before you can hook in to the inspiration. So it's like, don't think about the things that really matter to you until you get hooked up, and then you'll be inspired to think about them in a way that you'll get the resolution that you want. But the tendency is to think about the things that matter to you, but to practice the thoughts that don't help. So you keep putting an engine, another engine, and another engine, another engine on the end of the train that's moving in the direction that you don't want to go, and then wondering why you're not getting the manifestations and the actualizations and the materializations and the manifestations that you want.
So I've lost my focus, or my focus has gone in too many different directions.
Gone in too many different directions, or gone specifically in a direction that is in opposition to what you want. And it's about confusion. That's why your opening words were turmoil. Yeah. Let's say that you're wanting to have a conversation with someone about diet, whether it's for fuel or whether it's for body shaping, whatever the reason for it is. And it's somebody that you've talked to about it a lot. In other words, it might be a friend of yours that you've been up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and all around with for a long time. You might use words such as, I am on a vibrational diet. We're just kidding, sort of. But we want you to think in terms, vibrational diet meaning choosing more beneficial thoughts. What are you eating? Doesn't matter. I'm choosing more beneficial thoughts. And we're not talking about more beneficial thoughts about food. We're talking about beneficial thoughts, meaning thoughts that hook you up, thoughts that hook you up, thoughts that hook you up, thoughts that hook you up. That's the only thing that matters. Whatever your issue is, get off the issue and focus upon thoughts that hook you up, thoughts that hook you up, because it's the hooking up that matters the most. Because once you're hooked up, your vortex, which holds all the things you want, will be received by you. We started to say will be revealed to you, but those are not perfect words because they're being revealed to you all the time. You just can't receive them until you get hooked up.
So this then is the contrast that I needed to get hooked up. basically.
It may be the
Or
contrast
is I created.
that you need in order to help you to get more determined, because we're talking about focusing, aren't we?
Yes.
In other words, the wonderful conversation that we just had, anything that causes you to focus is a wonderful thing. And it's so helpful when you realize what it is you're wanting to focus on. In other words, what is it that you're focusing?
Myself right now.
And what is the reason for the focus? To come into alignment with the vortex period, not to get the manifested results that you want. You often come to a gathering like this and you say, I want these things to manifest, and so I'll play the silly games that Abraham wants to play so that I can get to this manifestation. But we don't want you to be trying to get to the manifestation. We want to get you to the feeling place that feels good. Every manifestation you want is because you think you'll feel better anyway, but we just want you to feel good, and then the inspired action will take you to the manifestation. But if you focus on the manifestation before you have accomplished a chronically good feeling, emotional, attitudinal state of being, then you can't hold the action. You can use willpower to control your action to a certain extent, but there's very little longevity to that.
Okay, I believe that it is about something else, as you've said, rather than me with my specific relationship with food, because I don't think that we should go through our life and worry about what we're eating when we're eating it, or I think it should be for nourishment, for enjoyment, and I want to focus on other things and not have that as a distraction.
Well, we hear what you're saying, but you're still overthinking it. And what we mean by that is, wouldn't you like to be so often in harmony with a broader perspective that you're feeling impulses, which means no resistance all the time about everything? Wouldn't you like to get an impulse? Let's say that you have some place to be. Wouldn't you like to get an impulse that was so strong that you just know when the right moment is to turn the car on and head in the direction of it? Wouldn't you like to have those kinds of impulses? Wouldn't you like to have the impulse of where to stop? Wouldn't you like to be less scheduled and more inspirationally guided about everything? About where to be and when to be there and who to be there with and what to do and what to say. Wouldn't you like that inspiration? And can you hear us when we say that inspiration is coming straight out of your vortex, straight out of all of the things that you've said you want? You want interesting conversations, and you want uplifting conversations, and you want to feel good, and you want to be meaningful, and you want to be of value to others, and you want others to be of value to you, and you want to have a really good time, and you want it to be fun, and you want it to be organic, you want it to be natural, you want it to feel good, you want it to be steady, you want it to be full, and you want it to be fast, and you want it to be all of these things that you've been putting incrementally into your vortex. And your vortex has the capacity to yield it to you, and is yielding it to you through your path of least resistance. But how often you all, we love you so much, get a jerky ride because you're down here on these emotional places on the scale, and you're being called from up here, and so it's a sort of jerky, uncomfortable ride. But you know those sweet spot moments that we're talking about, don't you?
Yes.
Don't you know what we're talking about when you know you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and just for that span of time everything's just going your way? And as it's going your way, you can feel the fullness of who you are. You feel invincible. You feel empowered. You feel full of love and appreciation. That's who you are. That's how you mean to feel, you see. And so we're just wanting to guide you to that emotional state of being, and then we're wanting you to follow through with amazing and wonderful impulses and actions and conversations that follow. And when you do, you're going to find whole new ways of approaching the world. Somebody got into that place as they found the ideas for the microchip and the new technology. In other words, all breakthroughs in technology and in wonderful things, it doesn't matter what the subject is, come from somebody being in that inspired state. But almost nobody maintains that state deliberately. It's a sort of fluke. They don't even know how they got there, but they have this insight, and then they wait for another 20 years for more insight as they stumble around focusing here and here and here. If you want to be a master of being in the receiving mode, in the replenishing mode, in the clarity mode, then you got to care about how you feel, and you got to stay off the trying to manifest for a while and let that be your dominant intention. And then, oh, the manifestations that come to you, Didn't you have the experience, and don't you know others that had it too, that once you began to become aware of the law of attraction and the art of allowing and the science of deliberate creation, didn't you notice that at first, especially, all kinds of things that had been sort of missing or sluggish for a while came into fruition for you? Didn't you notice that you had a sort of surge of things happening? It felt sort of magical, and then it sort of petered out. Well, the reason is because your vortex is stuffed full of all of those things, and for just a little while you trusted, and in your trust you were in the receiving mode, and oh, did you get the evidence before you started overthinking this, just like you overthink everything else. It's the quest for the manifestation that bogs you down, even though it's the manifestation that you want. How can we put those words into a way that they can go together? The quest for manifestation bogs you down, slows you down, hinders you, shoots you in the foot, and yet it's the manifestation that you want. So let's sort it out. Of course you want the thoughts to turn to things, of course you do, but you also want the exhilarating process of getting to witness the thoughts turning to the things. That's what you've all been saying as humans. If you've been saying but not understanding what you're saying, the joy is in the journey. When you say the joy is in the journey, what you really mean is, I sifted and sorted through the contrast. I put things in my vortex stirred it up. The law of attraction got hold of it. It became a very strong pulsing vibration. I got in vibrational alignment with it, and then my thoughts turned to things. That's what you meant. That's what you meant by that. That's what joy in the journey means. That's what it means.
A little bit.
That's exactly what it means. It's only what it means. It's the only thing it means. You make it mean things it doesn't mean. That's the only thing it means. That's the only thing it means. You are vibration. We're wanting so much for you to accept the vibrationalness of you that we're shouting at you. We want you to feel that you're a vibrational being, and we want you to understand that your emotions are your key to understand what you're doing vibrationally. And so anytime you're disappointed, anytime you're discouraged, anytime you're unhappy, anytime you're taking score too soon, anytime you're not happy with results, anytime that you're focused upon what you're doing wrong, anytime you're doing any of those things, you are not doing the only thing that will get you to the place that you want to be. And anytime you're not feeling good, you're not enjoying the journey. And anytime you're not enjoying the journey, you're not in the receptive mode. And anytime you're not in the receptive mode, you're not going where you want to go.
Okay.
We think that's perfectly clear.
Yes. You've made it very clear.
Enough?
Thank you. Enough.
Really good.
Thank you.
Really good. On the aisle right here. Yeah. Vibrational beings who want manifestations. That's a good thing, isn't it? Vibrational beings who want to turn vibration into things. Vibrational beings who want to turn vibrations into things. Vibrational beings who want to turn vibration into things so that the thing part of you can play with the things that you've turned into things from vibrations. Because you are a vibrational being who's turned into a thing. You're a vibrational being who's turned to a thing. You are a thing. That's why you want to play with things.